Hey, good morning. Early morning. Welcome to another edition of Towercrane Television. I'm your host, J9 Towercrane Guy. We're in super early. It's 2:18 Eastern Standard Time, and we are doing a concrete pour. And we're in here super early. I probably should have announced this live, but I didn't get out of here super late last night, so we are well, I'll just flip this camera around and let you guys see what we're getting into and how big a pour this is. It's a pretty big deal, so let me flip this thing around for you guys. Good morning, by the way. Hope everyone's having a great morning, good evening, early Saturday morning, or late Friday night, wherever you want to call it. And I'll flip this thing around and show you what we got going on. 350 or 400 yard pour. Not 100% if they're going to continue that floor down there that they were working on. I seen them working on it last night towards the end of the evening. So they're calling me right now. Good morning, good morning.
How are you? Good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm good. How are you?
A little bit tired, but fine.
Yeah. You know, we're getting it done, man. That's all that matters.
Hey, I'm going to be right here at 4 o'clock. You put one empty bucket. Over there at 6 o'clock in the ground. We'll put all the stuff there, finishing ground.
10-4, boss. You said you're at 5 o'clock on the top of the deck here?
4 o'clock. 3:40 is 4 o'clock.
10-4, boss. I'm away. Alright, we're gonna get right into it. So we're gonna jump down here and we're gonna go get this it's a skip pan. You use it for trash, but we're gonna use it to go pick up equipment and set it up on top here. It's just an empty box. Just an empty metal box. Not even a skip pan. So let me put you guys down here. You can actually see what we're doing. Instead of up there. It's a little bit better view. Yeah, some lights on. We're not really working in this area. I'm going to flip around and show you the other area we're working in this morning. This evening, whatever you want to call it. Throw down in the chat where you're viewing from. I'm always curious if it's in the United States, is it overseas, where you guys at? building's really coming along. We're I think we're 3rd floor on this right now, so we've got 17. This will be a total of 17 stories tall. We've got about another 1.5 years to go, so, and workflows were pretty steady. We've really been putting in some hours, so we've really been putting in a lot of hours.
Alright, go right in there and see what's in the car, and we go over there. Because no got people.
10-4 boss, 6 o'clock on the ground. Yeah, it has been non-stop work, which is good, you know. I like to stay busy, so. I'm a bit of a workaholic, so this job suits me well. Drop it down a gear because I can see the power lines, but I'm really relying on him to tell me how close I am. They're not even power lines, they're actually what do they call them? They're like how do I describe it? They're like telecommunication. So they should be putting them in the ground here pretty soon. Probably in the next month or so.
Down from the ball, 3, 4, 1, holding it.
10-4.
Right, speed, 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. I'll be right here waiting.
Thank you.
You're welcome, bud. Yeah, the pump truck is actually out on the road. They have this road blocked off over here, and because they are working on the telecommunication part, so the road is blocked off, and they literally put the pump truck out there on the road. So it worked out well for him, because instead of trying to be jammed up in this little alley that you're looking at, he's actually out here on the road. Once I get this, I'll have to swing to my right anyway, so you'll see the pump truck, and it's a big one. It's a big pump truck. He's already extended out, so looks like he should be able to reach most of the pour. Yeah, it looks like this will just be 350 yards right here, so they're not going to do the rest of it. They don't have the chairs set up for the cables, so. But we'll swing around here. As soon as I get this done, we'll swing around, let you guys see the beautiful skyline here in Charlotte, and it's gorgeous at night. It's you really get to see all the big structures and all their beauty, you know. So it's really cool. home here.
Up here, there's block on that. You can see the struggle fly right down here. Keep swinging to your right. Follow 6 feet.
Tough set. It's kind of between the lights and the columns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing a little bit more right than he wants. I'm going to actually drop it behind him, and then he can pull it in where he wants. And I'm going to drop it right between those columns, and then I'll just, once I get it low enough, we can swing it back to the left and get it where you're standing. And I'm letting him know.
That's perfect. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I just don't want to tag the light with all that stuff that's in the box.
Alright, let me grab the rope right here. Down 3 feet.
Now I'm going to wait for the swing. Oh. So don't swing it too hard, buddy. Oh, that was close. Okay. So he just keeps swinging it in circles. And that's what you'll have these guys do a lot, is they'll grab a tag line and they really don't have a clue what they're doing. They think they're helping, but they're really not. Like if he would have just guided me and said, hey, boom down a little bit, it would have worked out better. But when they insist to like grab a tag line, I just let them do it. I mean, I can cable down a little bit at a time, and that's about it.
About 10 feet. 5 feet, hold.
So yeah, if you move the bucket out of the way, that probably helps. Just,
alright, 2 feet, set her down slowly.
It amazes me sometimes that the
1 feet, slowly, keep it going.
The level of
get right there.
The level of common sense of some of these guys, it just besieges me sometimes.
Go down 1 more feet.
And it's not like their fault. They just don't know anything about cranes. So what I mean by that is they don't have a clue what crane dynamics are. How gravity and the force of gravity works when it comes to these big cranes. They just don't have a clue of what that entails. So hey Jake, you got a copy?
You talking to me, Jason?
Yeah, is this Jake?
Alright, go ahead.
Hey, I don't know if that was us that moved those barricades around that excavator. That dude about clipped it in that truck, and he come down that alley pretty quick. You might want to barricade off the alley so you don't have these drunk yahoos running down through here and clip one of these guys on the ground.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and barricade that off. I'll have 2 flaggers. We'll have trucks going in and out right there, but at least for right now. Thanks for catching that. I'll at least go ahead and barricade until the trucks show up.
10-4. That guy come down that alley about 35, 40 mile an hour. They were all yelling at him to slow down. So I just don't want to see somebody get hit. A lot of these people out here are probably drunk tonight. So.
Side too. That way they're not coming down this alley.
Yeah, you know, with this road being blocked off, they've just been looking for any way to get down through here, and I just don't want to see one of the guys get clipped by one of these guys drunk.
No, I agree.
So,
all right, Jason, you there?
10-4, boss. I'm getting your comment here, Jeff. Just give me 1 second, bud. Just trying to look out for these guys down here.
Calling. Hi.
That pickup truck come down through that alley about 30 mile an hour. He back clipped one of those dudes. You're welcome, bud. Okay, let me get to this I gotta put my glasses on. This is why I do not put a tagline on those things. I agree, but the company I'm contracted to, they want a tagline on everything, and you're right, no one does know how to use them. I mean, a tagline is meant to be pulled maybe 10 feet, maybe 15 feet, and that's like you're in a really tight spot, and they need to pull it in just a little bit, kind of guide you in. Other than that, man, tell the operator what you want. You know how that goes. You know, tell the operator you need him to do this. Tell the operator you need him to do that. Our job is to take commands from ground people and try to do the best we can. Every crane is different. You know, these guys are not used to a luffer being on the job. They're all used to flat tops, and that has made a huge. What the hell? That has made a huge difference in the what in the friggin' world? It's made a huge difference in how they respond to the crane, if that makes sense. So you gotta figure, I've got a 197 foot of jib that's usually pointed up at, I'm at 59, I'm at 60 foot of radius right now. Down, pointed down. So, you know, my hook height right now, just sitting here, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm right at about 146. So, take the cables at a hook height, let's say the radius is at like, let me see. So right now I'm at 73 and a half degrees with my radius. And if you put that into feet, it's 60 feet. So now you add that cable, and all that cable it's hanging. And at any given time, I've got 300 plus foot of cable hanging, because the crane itself to the bottom of the cab is 209 feet. So that's just 209 feet of tower and cab. Then you add 197 foot of jib. It gives you roughly almost 400 foot of cable hanging at all times. So you gotta catch a cable, you gotta catch a block that weighs a ton. It's a 2,000 pound block. And then it's a big block for a big crane. You know, this crane is almost 30 ton. So then you got 30 foot of chain, you know, and then you got whatever is on the end of that hook on those chains is less than 2,000 pounds at all times, unless it's a huge wall form or I'm doing, you know, the 2-yard concrete bucket. That's when we're going to come into the load is heavier than the block. But other than that, I mean, normally every load is lighter than the block. So the block is literally controlling the load. Load's just kind of for the ride on 30 foot of chain. And that's why, you know, they want to grab a tagline and try to control it, because sometimes it's just sitting there spinning. I mean, it really doesn't have a choice. When a block is heavier than a load, the block controls the load, and the block is literally going along, or the load is literally going along for the ride with the block. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it. I mean, you can move slower. You know, the crane moves slow anyway, so you can move slower to try to control any kind of pendulum swing with the load. But that's all, you know. And the thing doesn't boom quick either. The only thing this thing does fast is cable down and cable up fast. It hoists down fast and it hoists up fast and lowers fast. That's it. And I've got that on a gearing system. The rest of this is just really slow. It's just a slow crane. It doesn't boom real quick, and it doesn't boom real quick, and it doesn't boom up, doesn't boom down real quick, and like I said, it doesn't swing real fast. Anyway, let me sit you guys back up here. We're done with this pit, and as promised, I'm gonna swing this crane around. I'm gonna put you guys back up here on this on the windowsill here, and let's take a little spin. I'll show you guys this. So right here, we're looking at the this is gonna be your boom truck, the pump truck I was telling you about. It's a big one, man. Looks like a big spider. That's what it always reminds me of. It always reminds me of big spiders, you know. So it's really cool to see just the massive size of that thing, and this is completely spread out. Normally, they're kind of constricted to space in their space where it's like this alley or something. You know what I mean? So it's really cool to see them all spread out like that. Yeah, it's a great piece of machinery for what we do, and it's just neat to watch them work, pumping all this concrete out, getting all this platform done. So, but that is the pump truck, and we're going to swing around here a little more to our, what's my radius at? About 42 feet. So I'm trying to stay out of the street with my block. Spin here, you're going to see Panther Stadium. That's where the Carolina Panthers play. So I'm literally like eye shot away from it. If the big screen was on, I could literally watch a football game from the cab of the crane. So that's pretty neat. They have that kind of view. If you guys can see it or not. It's not lit up right now, so you really can't see it. But that's a very cool, kind of a cool view to have of that. How long?
I got one big mall right here, and 7 o'clock on the street.
10-4, 7 o'clock on the street. So I'm gonna swing just a little bit more. I want to see. I mean, I couldn't really give you a time. I mean, it's long. It's longer than like a trolley in, trolley out. You know what I mean? And it's longer boom down and boom up than a lower ton crane. You know, because this is a 30-ton crane. It just moves slower. And it's just, that's the way these are set up. They're made to pull massive weight, and they don't move real fast because of that. And I just don't think that any of the electronics were set up for this crane to be quick. I think they're all set up to be slow because of the simple fact it's in such a tight area. They really don't want it running too fast. And this was set up before I ever got here. So this crane was already up in the air when I got here. So we're going to boom out here. Actually, you have to see it. Let me put you right here, and we'll go back to, I'll show you guys skyline here in a minute. So I mean, you can literally, there's the block if you can see it. And I'm literally going to start booming down this full speed right here, and you'll get to see how quick it is. I mean, it booms down kind of quick. It's just not super fast. I've ran potane luffers that are quicker than this. So, but it was a lower ton crane too. Right above you, bud. I got a buddy who's running a 550, and it smokes this thing. It's so fast, but it's the way it was set up. You know, this crane is just set up slower than his crane, so. I don't get into the maintenance part of them. I maintenance my own crane as far as like greasing and all that stuff. But as far as like electronics and gearing and setting like limits, and I don't do none of that shit. My license says operator, not maintenance. So I don't get into none of the electronics. They have technicians for that. So I don't get into none of that. Any company I've ever went to work for, I always tell them, hey, look at my license, what's it say? And they're like, operator. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I am. I'm not a technician. I mean, if it's something I could just flip a switch and fix, I will. But I'm not going to, you know, be crawling out on jibs and readjusting limits. And that's not my job. You know, that's a technician's job. I won't do it. So, and most companies you work for, most companies you work for take care of all that. So. Good morning from California. Good morning. We're in the Carolinas. That's where we are today. That's where we're gonna be for quite a while. So.
Jonathan.
Is that hook height down a little bit?
Jonathan. Yeah. Jason, I'm here at 9 o'clock. So it's 9 o'clock.
10-4, I think you got a guy on the ground here waving at me, so. Oh, you want it over there? Okay, no problem.
Yes, sir, I'm just trying to get a gear on the back over the plywood here.
Yes, sir, no problem. Can I choose to what? To not do high rise? I mean, you can. So I've done about everything in a crane. So I've done like apartment complexes that were like all precast. They're all precast concrete, and then you just do like wood. You do like wood roofing and wood walls, and they're all precast too. But I mean, you can tell them you don't want to do a high rise. You're probably not going to find much work. Most companies, when I worked for this other company out of Tennessee, they that's all that dude really did. It was like the big apartment complexes that were all precast walls, precast concrete, and he was running a lot lower ton cranes. They were all Potanes, brand new cranes, and it was like on a smaller scale. So I mean, and they weren't real tall. They were probably maybe 10, 12 stories tall. You know, this is not a huge high rise.
People down. DC, 8, 6, 4. Sit down. Pick it down. 2 more feet. Down 2 more feet. 1 more. Hold it right there.
I mean, you can request, kind of, I don't know, how do I put this? If you're good at what you do, they're going to put you where they want you, you know, and you're going to be able to do it. I kind of, like, when I first started, I kind of had a fear, like, am I going to be good enough to do that? Am I going to be good enough to do this? Because I'd spent so many years on the ground, and being up here was different for me. And I'd ran some cranes on the ground, some mobile cranes and stuff, and a lot of equipment. But being up here was a different ball game, and just different. You get a different perspective on how everything is. And I wasn't 100%. I knew I wanted to dive into it as deep as I could, and not have a limit on what I did, so I didn't. But like running luffers, we'll talk about that for a minute. Like running luffers, there's flat top guys that don't want to run luffers. They just don't want to do it. They don't want nothing to do with it. And to each their own, you know. But I absolutely love cranes. So it don't matter if it's a luffer, flat top. I don't care what the tonnage is. As long as I'm in a crane and I'm getting to build a structure from the ground up, I'm cool with it. And I've ran about everything. I mean, I've ran big ton cranes. Like, this is a pretty big ton crane. It's almost 30 tons. I've ran 5.5 ton flat tops. I think that's the lightest one I've ever ran. It's 5.5 ton. Yeah, it's 5.5 ton. And then the biggest one I've ran so far, this is the second biggest. The first biggest I was ever in, the very first crane I was ever in, was a Recon 470, and you'll see it in these YouTube videos further back, some years ago. It was a Recon 470, and that was a 24 ton crane. This is the second largest, coming in at 29.5 tons, almost 30 tons. So I think the crane after this is going to be a lot bigger tonnage, probably looking at 60, 70 ton crane, tower crane. So they're just getting bigger every year. So, and I'm good with it. I mean, I want to be able to run some of the biggest equipment I've ever ran, and just to have that notch on your belt to say, yeah, I've ran that. Yeah, I've ran this. You know, the more experience you have running different equipment, the more availability you have to a company, and the more of an asset you are to a company. You know, not putting a limit on yourself, you know, and talking about, can you choose not to do a high rise? You can. I mean, you can absolutely throw it out there that, hey, I'd much rather not do high rises. I'd much rather do stuff on a smaller scale. And just know that your work will be on a smaller scale. You know, it kind of goes without saying. If you make yourself available for anything that a company has, then they'll make themselves available for any work that they have to come your way. Just always remember that. When I was a welder and a millwright and an iron worker, I had 3 trades under my belt for a reason. Because if we ever started something from the ground up, I made myself available to do all 3 trades at one job. So while other guys were either dragging up or packing up their tools to go to the next job, I was being able to stay for the completion of that job, for the start and the completion. So having, you know, the right set of skills and having the drive to want to learn more is the best way to achieve any goal. You know, not put a limit on yourself. You're kind of a chameleon. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, I guess you could request not to do high rises. If that kind of answers your question. Here's your license. Every license expires. You get like I think it's 5 years, and then you have to renew your license. So I'll be up for renewal next year. And when I do, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna acquire my Towercrane certification on that as well. I may not. I've got 7 certifications, and the only one I've really used is a tower. I haven't used any of the other ones, so my tower is my go-to. I enjoy being up here, and like they say, sky's the limit. Hey, we're not doing a pick right now, so I'm going to show you guys the rest of the Charlotte skyline here at night, and just how gorgeous this place is. I'm a structure nut, so I love looking at the glass, concrete, wood, lights, the whole, you know, the whole finished product. You're welcome. I hope that answered your question. I know I was kind of winded about it, but, you know, because I've never put a limit on myself of what I'm willing to run, I've never been limited to what kind of work I can get. So that's what it comes down to. If you want to work, man, you really got to put yourself out there on and how much you want to be working. Anyway, so I'm swinging around here. You're gonna see the rest of this skyline, and just gorgeous. You got the freeway right here in front of us, and then these are some major buildings right here, just big structures. That stadium was huge too. I wish it was more lit up for you guys to see. Well, like I said, just the man hours that went into building some of that stuff over there, you know, it's just incredible. And just can't imagine, you know, the time it took to build some of that stuff over there. Sorry about the camera work here. Just really big, really big buildings. They look so small from up here, you know, because I'm kind of right level with them, but they're really huge. Get you guys kind of set up right there if I can. But there she is in all her beauty. She's not really lit up. They really don't like the that one building you're seeing that's really not lit up. It's got like the purple light on the side of it. That's the Bank of America building, and they really don't light it up until like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 in the morning maybe. Like when someone goes in there. During the week, it's pretty lit up, but we're Friday night going into Saturday. Ran a crane that's been raised up and tied into the building. No, all the cranes I've done are freestanding, believe it or not. I have not gotten into tie-ins yet. It's just something I haven't done. This crane I'm in right now is the highest freestanding crane in Charlotte at 209 feet to the cab. Freestanding, no tie-ins. And so I'm the largest right now in Charlotte, freestanding. We got other cranes here that are tie-ins, and a buddy of mine's running another Luffer 550 Comanche, and it is he's got like another 7 sections to go. I think he'll be like 400 something feet to the bottom of the cab by the time he's all said and done. I think that building he's working on, which is right over across the way from us, you guys can't see it, but it's right over across the way where we're looking right now. There's 2 Luffers over there. There's a 310 and a 550, and he's running the 550, and he'll top out at like 40 stories or 42 stories. So he's got a ways to go. But let me get into some of these comments here. Let me see what you got going on, guys. My brother's union carburetor until COVID. I wanted to change the pace, so I'm looking into either getting into excavation or earth moving or tower cranes. Yeah, you can get an they have. When I went to crane school, there was guys there and gals getting their excavation license to run excavators. So I didn't know you need a license for that. No, Jeff, I'm totally up to it, man. Sky's the limit, man. I'd love to be I'd love to hit 1,000 feet, you know, tie-in, big skyscraper. I'd love it. You know, it wouldn't bother me a bit. Is that ever going to happen? I don't know. You know, I can only put myself out there to be available for a crane like that and see what happens, you know. I work for a pretty big company, so we have a lot of cranes in the air right now, and real good company to work for, real good bosses. Anything I need, it's taken care of, and I couldn't ask for a better guy to work for. So just real good company, real good people, working a lot. You know, that's always a plus. You don't ever want to be sitting too long, and you know, the next job is lined up after this. So that's a tower crane operator's. Some guys like time off after a big job. I don't. I like to go right to the next crane. So I like just keep working, keep busy. And you know, the more you're in the seat, the more experience you get. The longer you're sitting at home, the less experience you get. You know, you sit at home too long, you become rusty. Not, you know, completely unskilled, but you become rusty. You know, and you know, they say it's like riding a bike. Well, might take you a minute to get your, might take you a minute to get your legs back. So I don't like to sit too long. I don't like to sit at all, to tell you the truth. If I'm gonna sit, I want it to be in a crane. You know, I've said that before on these videos. You're only as good as your last pick, you know. And if you're not making picks, if you're not getting seat time and experience to do different types of picks, put you in different categories of doing things, then you're never going to get the experience of what you need to do and how you need to do it at certain times, you know. Yeah, that would be a little sketchy. I'm not going to lie to you on that one. Running a tower crane and having an earthquake happen in California, yeah, I will never run a tower crane in California. And it's nothing against California. That's one of the reasons I would never want to run a crane in California. They haven't had a huge earthquake there in years, so I'm sure they're due. Not to jinx Cali or nothing, but I'm sure they're due for a major earthquake. God knows when that is. And just like being out here on the East Coast, you know, there's a lot of hurricanes that come through here. So thank God I'm more north of Florida. I was in Florida for a while. We actually had to flee Florida about a year ago due to a hurricane. and we were right in the eye of it. And I literally had to quit that job and get the hell out of Florida before the hurricane hit and destroyed everything we had. So that's what kind of ended me up where I'm at now. And yeah, so you know, structures, every structure based on godly events, whether it be on the West Coast or East Coast, are all made different. You know, after California was having those really big earthquakes in the 80s and early 90s, California licensing and ruling of how they build big structures in California changed. You know, they have to have like these like shock mounted, rubber mounted type of things on the bottom of the building so they can actually sway with the earthquake. So it's a different structure line of how they're building big, like skyscrapers and stuff out there. You know, the taller they are, the more give they have to have, so they can literally just kind of bend and flex with the earth moving. So I'm sure that creates a lot more time on the job, having to do all those special things to make the building secure for California code. Just like when I worked in Florida, no wood structures. There were no wood structures. They were all concrete. Everything was concrete because of the fact they had major hurricanes. So there were no wood structures on any of the stuff I was working on. It all had to be concrete. So this building here is going to have some precast to it after we get this parking deck done. And I'm interested to see what kind of structured precast they're bringing. It'll be really neat to see. Like I said, it's an opportunity to pick something up different. You know, when it comes down to it and you're looking for experience in a crane, or you're looking for experience in an excavator or whatever, you know, anything, you want to make yourself available to be able to pick up anything, to move any type of dirt, to move any type of gravel, whatever it is you're doing. You all have a good night. Good morning. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will. It'll be posted on the page later on. It seems like if I do these live videos, it's better than doing like a pre-recorded video. Gives you guys a chance to like watch a good hour or so of the crane running. Yeah, you ain't kidding about that, Jeff, at all. Just like a lightning storm or wind, I mean, you get some high winds. These cranes are made to withstand some pretty high winds. Every crane is different. They're almost along the same lines as far as like the maximum amount of wind a crane can take. But yeah, if you're having a lightning storm go on or something, best place to be is in the cab. Don't want to get out of the cab, just better off staying in the cab. We're going to flip back around here. I want to see if concrete's actually showed up yet. It's supposed to have started about 3 o'clock, so. See if that first truck has showed up yet, and it is not. So this can make for a long Saturday. because this crane is so big and I'm swinging it so much, I maintenance the crane quite a bit during the week. There's a lot of greasing of the slewing gear, a lot of greasing of the cables, just to keep everything fresh and workable. And I'll put you guys back down here on the floor, and just keeping it, keep it maintenance, man. Last thing you want is a crane that's breaking down and needs to be serviced by technicians because you refuse to service your own crane. That's part of the job, is making sure that your crane is well maintained, and it's something I take a lot of pride in, to make sure that my crane is at its peak at all times. Yeah, you don't want a crane that's breaking down all the time, that's for damn sure. So, and some do. I mean, some cranes just electronics. Either I've seen cranes where electronics are just acting goofy and shit because maybe the crane was struck by lightning and they didn't completely figure out what was wrong with the crane at the time. I've seen that happen. That's a big reason the crane will break down a lot electronically, is that the crane has been struck by lightning and they had to come out and repair things on it, and they didn't quite get every repair done. Or humidity will be another reason electronics will start acting weird if you're in a real humid area. Water and electricity do not mix, so high humidity areas and electronics definitely don't mix. You could have a crane and it'll just start acting funky out of nowhere. Oh. But that's what they're doing. They're waiting on the concrete to get here and get it pouring. So it could be a minute. Tell you what, let's we got a minute here. I'm just gonna pull you guys up off the floor, and we'll take a walk out here on the counter deck. And yeah, let's go do that. Let's take a walk out here and kind of show you guys around and get a little better view than out the window. Not like I'm doing anything. So a lot of times being in the crane is a sit and hurry up and wait, you know. There's a beautiful shot of the skyline. Of course, we got our American flags. We got 2 of them. This one is for our men and women above ground, and that one's for our men and women below ground that have died for our country. And of course, we have our POW flag for our prisoners of war. Anyway, here's the skyline, and yeah, like I said, that Bank of America building is usually lit up. So there's Honeywell, it's pretty lit up. You got Ally, Duke Energy, a little bit more of the skyline there in the freeway. Just really beautiful. Bank of America Stadium. It is a little cloudy tonight. I don't know if you can see that right there, that little red light. That's a tower, that's a luffer over there. That's one of our luffers. But yeah, there she is. There's the stadium if you can see it. Shot of the floor. Well, shot of the grating. Kind of looking down there. Yeah. We'll walk out here to this other side. Kind of walking through the, this is where my hoist drums are, or my boom drums. Here's the rest of the job site. What they got going on. Yeah. There we be. Like I said, they're just waiting on concrete, so